some very interesting mechanics, which we can talk about later. For now, let's get into this next game, Morty.
Yeah, let's get into this. So, in the bottom right hand corner, we're once again going to have the Spectre player. It's going to be the blue player called Ryuu. And in the upper left, we're going to have GrayWarden, the orange Protoss player from Missing in Action. Currently taking 2 wins for his team. And we'll see how if he's going to be able to continue this on. Now, seeing a PVZ, so seeing a little bit of everything here. How's it stand?
Yeah, I've been wondering a little bit who is it, or more precisely, which race will it be that Team Spectre will decide to send forward against GrayWarden? Because going up against a Protoss, especially a very good Protoss player, that can be tough. I mean, those units almost never die, So unless you know exactly how to abuse certain aspects of Protoss play, in a direct engagement, most of the time, especially in the early game, you're not going to have an advantage, neither as a Zerg and neither as a Terran. So, if this fails, we could say that, well, now they've tried everything, because we saw a TVP, we saw a PvP, and now it's going to be a ZvP on Bel'Shir, nonetheless.
I'm interested as to what kind of style Ryuu tries to play here, because so far we've seen very, very aggressive plays out of Spectre. We saw Proxy Factory, we saw we saw straight up 4-gate from my ancestors. So they've been playing very aggressively, and I mean already here, Ryuu, he's got a gas down. He's taken a pool fairly early on as well. It wasn't a 14 pool. I think it was a 13 gas, 13 pool or something along those lines. So already here, it's looking as though he will want to get a little bit aggressive in this game, which, it's always going to be a little bit scary for GrayWarden, because, when your opponent plays aggressive, you're more likely to lose if you're better than him than if you're better than him and they play defensively and just passively and,
Yeah.
let you macro. So,
As it stands, though, I was keeping an eye on that gas. As soon as Ryuu hit that 100 gas mark, he pulled all of those drones off. So this is just going to be, I think, just a very safe speedling expand with very quick speed. This speed might be used later on in the game to try and deny the expansion from going up by GrayWarden. This is a move we've seen a lot of during the Wings of Liberty era. Zergs used to do this all the damn time, and that was because gateway expansions were so prevalent back then, and you could actually abuse on certain maps. You could actually abuse forge fast expands as well, little holes in the wall, stuff like that. So let's see what Ryuu will be up to. He is getting another set of Zerglings, so he will have 4 total, not playing as greedily as I thought he would be. But this will make it a little bit difficult for GrayWarden to scout. Is there a Roach Warren? Has he continued mining that gas or not? And in fact, the scout is completely denied as the probe is killed off.
we're seeing a lot more lings here, so it's very possible we do just see an attempted ling flood, but I feel GrayWarden's setting himself up well for this kind of situation. I mean, he's got a sentry on the way out, the top of his ramp's already a kind of a wall, and it looks as though he's only going to add to that right now with his extra gateway, so he's actually choosing to wall on the high ground, and this is so smart. This is kind of a new meta to kind of shut down this meta which has been to go for so many of these speedlane all-ins, and I mean, he may lose his natural here, but there's nothing.
I don't think so, actually. Well, he may end up cancelling that, but you know, those shields are 1,000 points. That mothership core,
it doesn't have energy for phone overcharge.
It's so close. I thought it had that. Well, that was a giant misstep by the Protoss player, just losing 400 resources just like that, and your natural to boot.
But
so no mining for him.
He's still like 5 workers up, and it's better for him to just lose his natural like this than to lose the whole game because he's not prepared on the high ground, and that's quite often what happens here. And I mean, we don't even we've only just got the second queen starting to inject the natural of Ryuu, so I think GrayWarden's in an okay position because with these gateways he's getting, with this extra Stargate as well, he can put on aggression while we expand in here. These lings try and run and see no nexus, so they just run off. But you know, they can.
No, but it's only a matter of time. I mean, that Stargate is a really good response, really nice play, I have to say. Unfortunately, it has been scouted completely with that passing Overlord. The third base was under construction momentarily, but has been since cancelled. Ryuu should really start building spores instead of the spines that he's doing right now, and drone up a little bit more because, I mean, there is. He knows there are no proxy pylons anywhere. There is no ground attack going to be coming his way. He delayed the natural expansion. He can stretch his advantage if he wants to, but he's not doing that. There is the third base finally, but I don't know if he even looked at that Stargate.
Yeah, I mean, he's not responding to it at all. He's definitely seen it, of course, but did he click on it? I'm not too sure. We have speedlings looking as they want to once again try and come and cancel this third base, but sorry, cancel the natural. But it gets harder and harder. I mean, the next the Mothership core still here to add DPS. The sentries here to add some force fields to help the zealots out if needed, and a couple more zealots get warped in, and not a single sentry falls. A single zealot does die. Most of these lings die as well. So, I mean, these lings are essentially useless at this point. They can't really achieve what they want to achieve anymore, and they just have to kind of give in with that kind of hope. So. These links turned around for an overcharge also used, another overlord goes down, and now he definitely knows about these phoenixes as well, because he's seen them killing his overlord. So, I mean, behind this, he's going into a lair. He's actually on 41 drones against 29 probes, so I guess he's in an okay position, but again, he has to be a little bit scared, because GrayWarden, with them early gateways and these early sentries, he could still move out, especially considering he still has that recall on the mothership core.
Well, he could, but the good thing for the Zerg player right now is that he knows that Phoenixes were in production. He has to kind of get an idea how far with the Phoenixes the Protoss player wants to go here, and there we see the spores being built. Not going to wait for the layer to finish to build a Hydra Den, because he did scout those Phoenixes, or rather reacted to those a little bit later. So if he sees only 3 Phoenixes, that's going to be okay. You're not going Stargate. Now, why are the Phoenixes important? Because Phoenixes usually you transition into a third base and robo play. If those were Void Rays, that would have been cause for alarm in Ryu's camp, in my opinion. But right now, he can just say to himself, well, this is just going to be a standard game. As long as I scout continuously and react, I should be completely okay. The third base is finished. Roach Warren is about done, and Hydroden is coming down as well. I'm wondering about those Evo chambers that should come into play momentarily.
Yeah, he's going to be going Roach Hydra, so just a standard composition, and I mean, there's a few different things we can see. We could see him maybe try and rush up to a hive to get out the Vipers very quickly to go for kind of pre-temper timing with that, and there's a couple of other styles which work out pretty well as well. So keep an eye on what exactly he wants to do. Them double Evo chambers are finishing up Roach speed starting, so he's really just starting to get these upgrades rolling, but losing quite a lot to these Phoenixes. His overlords were too far out on the map. He's losing a few drones which just misrallied all over the place, and GrayWarden's starting to take a third base with this map control from these Phoenixes, and the damage they've done. Ryuu, he can't really afford to just make a lot of units in attack to punish that third base right now before Colossi.
Well, not right now, but he could try to do a 1-1 timing with the Roach Hydra.
He could,
I don't know. I don't know if that would work though, because
I think the Colossi will be out by then, which is
exactly.
Which is if he hadn't lost, say, the Overlords he's already been losing, and some of the extra drones, he probably would hit a 1-1 time before Colossi, and he could do quite a bit of damage. But it's just the way that Phoenixes have done so much damage. It's really helped to bring GrayWarden a little bit back into this game, because you got to remember he's been down almost 20 workers for the longest of times at this point, and he still kind of is.
Yep.
So, I mean, Ryu's economy is still good, just being slightly set back by these Phoenixes means he can't take advantage of that just yet. And he throws down a Spire right now. You have to question, is it for the Mutatech switch? Is it to just go Corruptors to deal with the Colossi? Because no inclination of going to Hive suggests that, hey, I'm not going to go into Vipers, which means he has to do something.
There's a couple of ways to deal with this type of play from the Protoss player. So far, I have to say that Ryuu has had some very good ideas. A good opening, more than anything, I'd have to say, and a huge success in the beginning. Now, since there is no inclination of his to take a fourth base, I'd have to assume that this Spire is just going to be for the Corruptors. Once he's got a good number of Corruptors, let's say 12 Corruptors, out in the air, That's usually enough to bring 2 Colossi down very, very quickly. And he is going to have those Corruptors before the 3rd Colossi is out. Look at those Hydras moving out across the map, so he will definitely try and punish that 3rd base. No intention of taking a 4th. Yes, this is a little bit of a risky move by the Zerg player, because if this attack doesn't work, or he trades badly, then there is essentially no going back for him.
Yeah, these roaches and hydras are moving across the map now, and I mean, he has to do something with this because, as you say, I mean, there's no going back. He hasn't really committed to any tech. You know, he's got the corruptors out, but in general, his army's very low tech. Roaches, lings, the hydras are the only real kind of techy units in there. And while in general, roach hydra's okay if you're supported by vipers, just with corruptors, it kind of becomes very weak very fast. So let's see if this is going to work out. GrayWarden sees this from an observer, so you can get in position very easily. And without an overseer here, Hallucinated Colossi are going to do a very good job. So very good fast decision there by GrayWarden to hallucinate these. And it could really help out as the force fields initially are great. And yes, the corruptors are wasting shots on them hallucinations, but they are still giving chase as well. And while the second hallucination goes down, these corruptors turn away. So hallucinations saving the Colossi for now. But is this going to work out in the long run? Colossi is still being attacked. 3rd base falls. Bel'Shir. These roaches and hydras are coming forward, and there's still a lot of corruptors in the sky.
I don't know. I think this was a little bit of an overextension by the Zerg player. This may be pushed back.
The other Colossi comes down, some roaches come in from the side, which is actually the way GrayWarden was trying to kite away with Stalkers. And I mean, the Colossi has only just come out, so his next one isn't here for a little bit of time. The Corruptors have not been dealt with. So they're still in the sky to deal with new Colossi, and they're now camping the Robo facility. Blink has been used to the best of his ability, but the Robo goes down before the Colossi even comes out. And you know what? Ryuu is actually just going to break through here. I think he takes down a pylon on the high ground and doesn't have to commit up there. He just kills off.
He actually might, but he's paying a huge price for it. His 3rd base has been ransacked, and it's going down to Zod Warpins right now. But I don't think it even matters. Sure, there is a reinforcement pylon somewhere out there, or maybe even that has been taken out, but with the natural base of the Protoss player falling, I think this is all she wrote for GrayWarden, and unfortunately, he will have to tap out of the game. But I gotta tell you, that decision to stay in the fight after taking out the 3rd base of the Protoss, that was... I don't know. As for me, if I were... in place of Ryuu, I probably would not have the guts to go ahead and do that, but it paid out.
I think the main thing was his Corruptors were still alive, and if GrayWarden had killed off even 2-3 of them Corruptors, them next 2 Colossi, they don't go down so quickly, and it's a completely different fight, but barely any Corruptors died, and he's actually spent very little on Corruptors, so his attack was pretty good, and it continued to be good as long as them Corruptors stayed in the air. And that's basically what he said. I mean, there's a lot of Blink Stalkers here now. He has to be very careful. If I was Ryuu, I'd just sit at that natural and just not let anything happen. Phoenix is chasing down the Corruptors here, and they're going to get one of them killed off, but without a Robo facility, of course, we're not going to be seeing any Colossi. So these Corruptors aren't really as useful anymore. Phoenixes are going to find themselves doing a little bit of damage here, as they managed to pick off 1 and nearly the 2nd and 3rd Phoenixes, as these Corruptors are still giving chase as well. And GrayWarden, I mean, is he just going to move across the map and go for one large attack? He very well could. He loses some Hydras.
Well, you know what? I would not be surprised if the Protoss player just pulled all of his probes at this point, which is not what he's doing. He's just going forward with the Stalkers, picking off all the Corruptors, or as many as he can. Probably he wants to... Oh no, wait a minute. His Robo was killed, but...
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if he's just doing it to keep his Phoenix alive safely so that he can use them in the fight as much as possible.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. His probes are now coming across the map. I guess he had nothing to... Well, I guess he was in a bit of a rush, but I think...
Well, you know what? You know what? If he manages to kill off this 3rd base, which I don't think he will be able to...
I think the army's way too big here. Upgrades are even. The army supply is actually double for the Zerg players, so it's going to be very hard. I mean, yes, there's Blink, which is quite nice.
Good decision there by Ryuu. He does have another base on the far right side, so no need to waste his material defending this base.
But he could at least have sat on top of the ramp to stop the
he could have.
player coming up. I don't think he even needed to take it down. He could have sat in front of the choke point and just wait for his opponent to come through. He's actually going to take potentially the worst possible fight for himself here.
Yeah.
Phoenix is going to lift up some units to try and help out. He's still pulling back as though he thinks he's lost this game, but I mean, he's got this basically. He just has to move forward some sentries, get some okay-ish force fields, but the fact of the matter is the numbers just are not there, and now the Hydras come forward, the blinks aren't going to be enough, everything will die off, and Ryuu will bring Spectre back into this by at least one game, taking down GrayWarden to spice things up a bit and bring